Hello and welcome to Life in the Bitter Truth. This is the podcast where we seek to understand the deeper, sometimes painful aspects of life and what it all means to us. I'm Vittorio.
And I'm Alex.
Hold on, damn it, Alex.
Thank you. Oh, shit.
That's the one I was looking for.
Oh, dumb.
So what's been going on?
Just
What have you
work.
done? What have you been up to?
Just work and being sad about just death.
Death. A lot of people dying that you know?
Yeah, I feel like Jacob and I have both been just talking about how everyone is dying.
Oh, you mean the last week? Yeah. So
Yes.
so that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about we're talking about rock and rollers
Talking about music.
talk about music, rock and rollers that have died, music that's now dying, right?
Yeah.
And just So what?
And just existentialism.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Oh.
But Ozzy Osborne died.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? But he was a walking corpse anyway. So
No, I feel like
no, he was pretty sick.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was really sick. He had Parkinson's and
Did
it
he?
was
I didn't know that. Wow.
yeah, and I mean, other than the general things that he had put his body through throughout his life, the Parkinson's was really getting to him, and he said that he was just in so much pain.
Didn't he and the wife have a suicide pact, or was that just lies?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either.
I don't know.
So we lost Ozzy. The Hulk Hogan
Hulk
passed
Hogan
away.
passed away as well.
Yeah, didn't
which was
somebody
so
else?
sad. God, I fucking hope not.
Okay, I know. I think there was one other. Oh, the guy
sneeze.
from Malcolm. Bless you.
Thank you.
The Cosby Show dude. He drowned
Who?
in Cakes and Turcos, I think it was.
What the hell?
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Let me see this.
He's not a musician type, but yeah. Bless you.
Oh my God.
What the
Thank
hell?
you.
So yeah, he died just within the last week.
Let's see.
So yeah, a lot of fuckers are dying. A lot of people dying. Wow,
It's
tough.
super. It's super sad, and a lot of these people. Oh wait! Oh my God! You're freaking right.
See? Exactly.
He was swimming with his 8-year-old daughter.
That's terrible. I know. I read that. I'm thinking that's terrible for his daughter. My God, for him too. But whatever.
she was rescued.
Yeah,
she
it's tough.
lived and he passed. Oh
Yeah,
my God,
that's
that's
tough.
just
That's
horrible.
So
But yes, there's been lots of death happening, and
So we talk about death, right? And we talk about aging rock and rollers and stuff. So it's fun. So Ozzy Osborne, right? I saw Ozzy one time when I think they opened for Rush,
oh really?
and we saw it at
Black Sabbath opened.
I don't remember whether it was
Okay, if
him
it was
alone
him.
or it was Black Sabbath, because I was a non-Ozzy Osbourne fan, but I was a Black Sabbath fan. So kind of synonymous because it's Ozzy singing.
Yeah.
But I guess the music was a little bit different for me. But
Right.
I guess that's the way my memory brings it. But yeah.
I mean, you're there for a Rush show, which I am wearing my vintage Rush
That's right.
shirt
Rush,
today.
Rush. you
That
see
has the bedazzled.
Yeah, that's right.
I bought this from my friend's shop.
Yeah.
Her name is Ray Vintage, and she gave me a great deal on this
Good
top.
deal. Good
I was
deal.
like, "Girl, this is my dad's favorite band. Can you please give me a good deal on this shirt?"
So I have I had a partner that loved the Stones, and every time we would go somewhere, I'm not a fan of the Stones. I can get into nasty shit about the Stones, but whatever. I'm not a fan about the Stones. Not a fan of the Stones. I don't like the Rolling Stones. But everywhere we'd go, she'd say, "Look, there's no Rush T-shirts. What the hell? I thought this was a famous band." I go,
Oh
"They are
my
a
God.
very famous band, but whatever reason, they don't have T-shirts. Whatever."
That just
Because
yeah.
their Rush was never a big commercialized.
Yes.
They didn't sell their souls, right?
Right.
They were there for the music, the poetry of the
rock and
music.
roll.
Unlike the Rolling
Read between the
Stones,
lines.
were the whores of rock and roll.
Oh shit.
So that's it. And that and the Beatles, right?
You're like-
the whores of rock and roll.
Yeah,
which you can't peg the Beatles as
Rock and roll.
And so before all you crazies out there get mad if I don't like one band or another, because we did an
My
episode
dad is
once on
so opinionated
Drake
about
versus
music. Kendrick.
Lamar. Oh my God, people, you're so
Dang, my
whatever.
dad got the most haters that
I
day.
know, and I did this for whatever reason, just because I don't like Kendrick Lamar. Whatever, I like Drake though. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of certain bands. I'm sorry, I just don't. It is what it is. The music just doesn't appeal. So yeah,
I will say when I heard the news of Ozzy passing away, it really hit me. I did cry.
I was in a meeting when that happened, or when the news article came out, and it was actually your brother that called me, And then he messaged me, and I just couldn't answer the phone at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was like, what? Ozzy died. And I messaged all of you guys, and it was really sad. I messaged Jacob, and he was at work, and I was like, oh my God, Ozzy Osbourne passed away. Like, I just felt like, what the hell? Like, this is such a monumental person in rock and roll history, and like,
right. So which kind of walks us into today's podcast is rock and roll dying because everyone in rock and roll
is dying. Yeah.
And so we thought we'd kind of go through some nostalgia of the different generations of music and stuff, but walk us forward and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think like I said, I was not ever a necessary fan of Ozzy's, but I loved Black Sabbath, right? That was a band that I just, as a kid, listened to. And I remember, putting the albums on, which don't ask me, because now it's just, I couldn't, some of my favorite bands was Kiss, Rush, Black Sabbath, Black Flag, just these bands, that were just hardcore rock and roll.
Yeah.
I was never a, Iron Maiden fan or that kind of music and stuff, but big into Led Zeppelin. I didn't really like The Who that much, but I will tell you, I got more into The Who after the movie Quadrophenia came out.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
So Quadrophenia was about the, these were the scooters, the mods, and not the socias, but whatever it was.
Yeah, so it's like its own thing.
Two different groups, like the kids that drove the scooters, and they wore the kind of the jacket thing,
and then the bowling shoes.
Yeah, it was just and then the skas.
Okay.
Remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
So I remember watching that movie, and it was all about that generation. It was based in the '60s, and it was all the Who music. And you know who was in that movie from the Police? Sting. He was in that movie. And he was kind of like this leader type person. The platinum hair, and he had the best scooter with all the freaking mirrors everywhere.
Oh, I love that type of shit.
And so the protagonist in the movie, the kid who was this rebellious, just unruly, kid. I don't know whether he was from Liverpool or where he was from, but he saw Sting's character at the end of the season as a busboy.
Oh,
and he yells out, "Busboy," or whatever it was, something like that. I can't remember exactly the movie. And then he actually stole a scooter and then drove it off the cliff or you don't see whether he drove it off the cliff or he flew off the cliffs of Dover.
What the heck?
And his scooter went down.
Dang, I love those types of scooters. So, I love mod culture.
Sorry, I know we deviate a lot, but yeah, that was the one movie that I got into when it came to the Who, right? But never a band I would ever listen to a lot
outside of it.
Led Zeppelin was probably a band that I listened to a lot in my teens. Later teens. And
then you obviously all the music that you grew up listening to got transferred onto us, which I thought was very telling to why these people matter so much to us and our generation, because they're the people that our parents were listening to when we were growing up, and your guys' favorite bands, you know what I mean? Like we would see Ozzy Osborne on TV. We would listen to Rush every day going to school. And I remember when Neil Peart passed away, I called you and you hadn't found out yet. And I just felt like the worst person giving you that news, but I'm like, I don't know if he knows or not yet.
Yeah, and it was the end of
just a legendary, it'll never be that he was,
These three musicians put out more quality poetry in music form than any band could with more people. These were pure musicians who just belted out lyrics that were, like I said, poetry in the form of music that was just compelling. It meant so much to the ear to listen to that kind of music. It was just, like I said, poetry. Just shockingly how they just put out
and to see them
so
perform.
Much music, and they performed live as good as their studio performances.
How many times had you seen them perform?
Ooh, shit. I've been to probably 5 or 6 concerts.
I think my mom had gone to one of them.
She went with me to go see, and I forget the freaking name of that one, but we were up in the off of near Ontario, wherever it was, that one amphitheater. It was Ozzy Osborne that opened for us.
Is that when you went with Elon?
No.
And Asaf?
No.
Oh.
No.
When did you take those?
I can't remember. If they were with us, I don't remember. But I know your mom was with me, and her only comment was, "There's a lot of people smoking weed."
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
My mom's always been anti-weed.
Man.
Oh my God, here we go again.
Come on, Hilda, please. Don't be bullshitting everybody. So,
oh my God, that's so funny.
So we went to that concert, and that was Rush. And then, so I've seen Rush a lot.
A lot of times.
Yeah, a lot of times. And I will never forget when I was 13, 2112 came out. Not 13, I was in middle school. And that was probably the concert to go to. Everybody went to that concert. Yeah, 2112. Wow.
My question cool. for you is, what the hell did Grandma think when you were listening to this type of music in your room?
No.
Because I think you told me that she let you like do the paint in your room that was like the glowing paint. So you put when you would put ELO on, you I think once he told me like, oh, I didn't need to do drugs when I was growing up because I had freaking ELO and I was just sitting in my beanbag. Yeah.
So in I had my own room, right? And so we all had our own rooms, our own bathrooms, all that stuff in this house. And I remember my walls, most of the ceiling were covered with posters, concert posters, band posters. That's what you did.
And she let you do that?
Wall to wall, every single wall was covered with posters of bands. Kiss was big. I mean, big for me, right? I never went to their concert, though. I remember staying up late. I was probably 7 years old, I think it was, when back in the day, you would see performances being taped of rock and roll bands, but you'd have to see it late at night, right? And so I remember watching Kiss. And if anybody knows anything about Kiss, they would do very theatrical performances. The blood, the ripping off of the tongue, and just all that stuff. And this, I remember that very vividly. Watching that performance, and I stayed up till like 1 o'clock in the morning to watch that. But yeah, so Kiss was a big band. Like I said, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, just crazy music. I think I wore out Pink Floyd The Wall. When I was in 4th grade, a kid lent it to me, the tape. Because back then we had tapes, we didn't have CDs, right? A tape is a little device.
Old ass.
That was about 4 inches by 2 inches, and you stuck it into a tape player. Yeah. So I wore out Pink Floyd. I mean, I listened to it all summer long, all winter long, and then as I kept getting older, we went from hardcore rock and roll bands into the 80s, early 80s. And I remember, I think I was telling you before we started, that one band was a summer, I can't remember the summer of maybe 1980 or something like that. We went to the Santa Monica Pier a lot. Pier 7, no, it was Lifeguard Station 7 is where we all hung out. So we would suit up with our flip-flops, our board shorts, and our boogie boards.
Sandcastles.
With a towel. Stuff. And we would all go from the valley.
On the bus, right?
On the bus.
Bruh.
Through Wilshire Boulevard. And we'd end up at Santa Monica Station 7. And that's where we'd all hang out all day long.
Before there were freaking phones and all this crap.
But I remember there were 2 bands that were just pumping out the music during that summer, which was The Knack, My Sharona, and Supertramp.
Supertramp, yeah.
Yeah, Supertramp. Breakfast in America was the name of the album, I believe. But it was just on constant rotation. Yeah, we just listened. And we listened to KLOS, 95.5 KLOS. That was the radio station. They used to give us, you would go to like, not Licorice, but there was another one. Oh my God, I forgot the other music store that you would go and buy your albums.
Tower?
Tower, and then they would give out KLOS stickers. The rainbow sticker, black, and then the radio station number or reference point KLOS 95.5, and we all have those stickers on our peachy things.
Folders.
Yeah, peachy folders. Yeah,
so cool.
So funny. And then of course we all did kissing sessions to Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we would go to parties and then they would play Stairway to Heaven. And of course that's like a 10-hour song, right?
For sure.
Very long song.
So long.
So you could you could squeeze up on the girl for 20 minutes, It's like that. I mean, I know the song isn't 20 minutes,
right. But
that's what it felt like
20 minutes.
Yeah. So I remember that. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
That's interesting because when, I feel like when I was in middle school, that's when, there was this conception of rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, learning about this type of music really became just very, apparent all around me. Everyone I was friends with, we were all listening to Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, all of these bands. And it wasn't until I would say like high school that I really got into like 80s new wave, stuff like that. But
sure,
I feel like to be so young listening to the Stones and Zeppelin and all these bands, like it's a trip because
the generation
you want to be a part of it so badly.
Well, the generation that's here now and your guys' generation is like you guys got to listen because I listened to it,
right?
But we listened to so much music, all of the 80s music as well. So we went from that, the benefit that I think we had growing up is we went from rock and roll genre all the way through. And I grew up listening to Chicago, the Bee Gees, all of these bands of the 40s and 60s and 70s. What's it? The guy who did the disco music. I forget his name. God, I forget the name. It'll come to me. But I went to his concert at the Coliseum. And it was just so funny. Who the hell was it? My mom used to love this guy, this band. But yeah, so it'll come to me. And so we went from the disco generation, rock and roll, disco, from disco into the early, Sex Pistol years. Through
I went through a Sex Pistols phase too.
Through the 80s music where that was just magical because there was so much music.
And I remember telling you, Dad, the 80s were the best generation of music.
You know what?
And you're like, yeah I see it. But I just the obsession of Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears and, New Order, Joy Division, everything like.
We went from, I remember, back in the day, we used to do spring break in Palm Springs, right? No different than Bradley Ellison, the movie Less Than Zero, right? Everybody would go to Palm Springs. We would hang out and, everybody would be throwing parties at different, their hotel rooms or whatever, motel rooms or whatever it was. And we would be driving up listening to Depeche Mode or Tears for Fears. Mad World was kind of an epic song of that time for me, right? And so listening to that, but then going deeper, Bronski Beat, just on and on and on, all these different songs, Alphaville, it just was so endless, the type of music we got to listen to. And as the decade kept going, it was just nonstop.
It just got better and
just
better.
Just more and more and more music. And I remember I was in London. I want to say I was in London in the late 80s. And the amount of music that you could buy there in a compilation CDs were just epic because they would just do different kind of stuff you couldn't buy here.
Compilation.
And I had a girlfriend who, when we broke up, she took my damn CD, which was a 4 CD case, whatever it was, compilation of all these 80s bands.
Oh, dang.
And a lot of we called it the second wave British invasion, right? Because there was all these bands from everywhere from Europe all the way through Australia, just all these, and they just made it so they hit it big in the US and all these bands. A lot of people don't know who Robbie Williams is, but he was huge, in Europe, and just bands that you the song. It's like what? Like a lot of one hit wonders and stuff. Yeah.
But and it's funny too because when we talk about I had asked Jacob this question when we first got together, but like who are the people and the bands that like are signature for your parents? Like, who reminds, if the song comes on, where does your brain get sent to, as it revolves around your family or growing up? And he told me, like, Morrissey reminds me of my parents. Morrissey. Depeche Mode. My dad loved U2. I know you don't like U2.
I don't like U2.
But he just said, growing up, I was constantly hearing Depeche Mode, constantly hearing Morrissey, constantly hearing The Cure, and
the Police were big.
The Police. We listened to the Police a lot, and just having like so much inspiration, just constant music around us.
Yeah.
And every day I would get picked up by my grandma from school, and she would be playing the Bee Gees, Jackson 5, the Beach Boys were huge for me growing up.
Sure.
And also Brian Wilson passed away recently. Rest in peace. Yeah. But it's, you remember these.
REO Speedwagon just broke up after like 57 years. REO Speedwagon.
You're like, guys, why are you getting a divorce? It's like,
give me a break. REO Speedwagon. Yeah. So jumping backwards, right? So it's funny. You had mentioned something about being in my room. So I had all these posters up. I had a green beanbag, and I did not do any. I had a strobe light it wasn't a strobe light, but it had strobe light and it had colored, and it would flicker to different colors based on the music. So I would listen to ELO and
that's pretty AI.
all these different bands sitting in my beanbag, lights off and shit.
Yeah.
And back then I had the stereo system, right? Because music was really, really important to me and I guess to my generation, I guess.
Yeah. So grandma would just bought that for you, or like
no,
how did you?
I actually saved up as much money as I could, and I bought it at Macy's. It was a Fisher stereo system. The speakers were probably 24 inches tall, and I had it on some kind of wire rack, and that was a beast. I mean, it was loud, and I would play that thing very loud. Your mom, your grandmother and grandfather never bothered me.
Oh, really?
Never yelled out, turn it down, nothing, man. I just played that shit.
Just like, Vittorio's in his room listening to his music again.
I had a lock on my door. I would disconnect the phone, and I would just chill. And or if the girlfriend was over or friends were over, we would just sit on the floor and we were just talking about shit and just listening to the music in the background. Sitting on the floor, I was in my beanbag in my corner and just chilling out and just having fun.
So what about like 60s, 70s? Like I feel like, okay, so for the longest time and you remember, I was obsessed with Woodstock. I like went through a weird phase. 60s. I know. Yeah. I went through a weird phase growing up. This is probably
Janis Joplin. Probably,
I was obsessed with Janis. Yeah. I was obsessed with Jimmy and
Far forget. Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh, Casey.
My mother loved Casey and the Sunshine Band, and I went to their concert. Sorry, go ahead.
You're like, it came to me.
I mean, it did finally come to me.
But I was just so obsessed with 60s culture. I loved hippie culture. Yeah. Was really into just like San Francisco and the whole thing.
Haight Ashbury.
Yeah. And and I just was like, God, why? And I would tell my dad, why wasn't I there? And I told him, I was like, hey, you were born in before Woodstock. Why didn't you go? And he's like, dude, I was like freaking 3 years old or 4 years old.
So I mean, that music at that time, right? So there was just so many bands you could listen to. But I tell you, I remember once making a mixtape for your grandma. Her favorite band was Chicago at the time. So Chicago was a band that I would listen to. I listened to just so much different variety of music. So my music taste never wavered from just everything. Even the classics, Teddy Pendergrass, just all this fucking music from the 50s all the way through. We listened to everything. The Jackson 5 were big in my household. We listened to a lot. We listened to Michael Jackson a lot, and the Jackson 5, right? We just listened to all that music. Aretha Franklin. Oh my God, my mother would listen to all that. So we always had it in the background. Beach Boys were big,
huge. Yeah. That was like the one group that like always reminds me of my grandma. And I remember writing a sociology paper on the fact that like the Beach Boys is like uber America, like culture, and how like my grandma, an immigrant, was just so obsessed with the band and what that said about.
She had, coming from a communist country, she had the love for America that just like today. She has an enormous passion for America. She came here with a thirst to immerse.
Yes,
and
for sure.
so which the immigrants or the generations that have come since then don't care. It's there's a lack of, you know.
She wanted to understand American culture. She wanted to understand the beach, just everything.
Yeah, so music was important to her. Growing up, we listened to a lot of Spanish music, and a lot of like Buena Vista Social Club was big.
Celia Cruz.
Yeah, just all that music. So we had such a variety of music that we were involved in listening to.
And we don't have that shit now. Like, why is it? Like, I hate to be that type of freaking Zoomer where I'm like, they don't make it like they used to.
They don't. It's true.
But it's so true. And people ask me, oh, what are you listening to these days? I'm like, dude, I listen to the same shit over and over again. I haven't gotten over all the genres that I grew up listening to, and it's not the same.
I've been pushing, if we talk about new genres, but taking a step back, so to go back to our theme, right? So music, the evolution of music through the decades have just been, I mean, just the quality of music. So back in the day, you could, for 99 cents, you would get 100 tapes. It was some weird CBS record deal that whatever it was, they would sell you for 99 cents. They'd sell you 99 tapes, or something for like a penny that you would get like that. But there was always a hook. But yeah, so we all did that, and we picked all kinds of stuff like that. And every year, at the end of the year, they would go through the hot 100 of the year, something like that. And so they would play one after another. So all my friends, we were on our phones and we were saying, the next one's coming up. Are you taping that one? And so we'd get our tapes, and our cassette tapes, and we would be recording song after song after song. And then we'd run out of tape, but we would buy stacks of tapes to record all this stuff. We would do this at the end of every year because that's what the radio stations would do. KLOS would do that. I mean, some of the other stations, but that's how we recorded. That's how we got tapes without having to buy the music.
Right. Yeah. And I still remember the day that you taught me how to burn a CD.
That's right.
I was so tripped out. He's like, you can make it for your friend. You make it for your CD player, whatever. But my dad had just a huge library of music on his computer, and I was just like, just dragging them, like, just learning how to do it. And then also the first iPod, like that was just such.
I still have my first iPod.
Yeah, I know, and
it's a brick.
It's huge, and I remember saving up money from Christmas and my birthday and buying my first iPod and just feeling like, holy shit, I have the whole world in my hand right now.
Yeah.
Like every song I've ever wanted to listen to, it's right here. Like, and then, another thing that I obviously with Pandora and like streaming music, you just started learning about so many different artists. Even though I wasn't learning about new artists, I was still learning about artists from the past.
Oh, sure.
And I just kept diving deeper and deeper and really like solidifying the type of music I wanted to listen to.
So you guys were the iPod generation, right?
Yeah.
So we went from, an 8-track tape in the car, these huge cassettes. I'm sure you've seen them in movies and stuff. We went from 8-track tapes to cassettes to CDs, now to streaming.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, we were the cassette generation, right? Because that's how we did lots of mixtapes, and you were hot for a girl when you did a mixtape for her.
Hell yeah.
And I had done many a mixtapes, and I had gotten many a mixtapes, so that's what you did to kind of convey your feelings for somebody.
Right.
That was kind of cool, right? So you'd
how many songs can you put on one?
Oh God, it was probably maybe, I can't remember, maybe 10, 15 on each side, something like that. Okay. Something like that. I can't remember. But you could buy the higher quality mix of the tapes, and you could have film. You could not film. You could record more. But there's all kinds of stuff. And then there were opportunities where you could dub your mixtape, and you would pass them out to multiple girls.
Oh my God! You freaking dog!
I remember that. Yeah,
like less work for me.
So we went from, like I said, where you couldn't listen. You had portable 8-track tapes, but they were huge boom boxes back in the day. And then the little boom boxes became smaller and smaller. I had the yellow Walkman with the headset thing, and it was waterproof. big
you
old
probably
yellow.
Felt so freaking
it was
cool.
probably maybe 6 inches by 4 inches, I think it was, and it was just a handheld. You had it on your waist, and you pop a tape in there, and that's what it was, and that's what you did. So we went from the Walkmans all the way up through to the iPods,
and now to have like Spotify.
And now I don't have any of that shit, because what's the point? I have it on my phone. Mm-hmm. I have Spotify, which is a service that I pay for, and I've got my playlist. I think you've got a playlist on there. Your brother's got a playlist. I mean, I've got music from all the way through the decades.
Yeah.
Even to today, which is some of my really music I'm enjoying a lot now, is the J-pop.
Yeah, my dad's really into J-pop.
Yeah, it's very cool. These girls can freaking sing.
Yeah, and they can freaking dance and perform and everything.
And they can rap too. So
and I'll say I'm not super educated in like the newer genres of music, K-pop, J-pop, whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like I said,
they're good.
Yeah,
they're actually really good. I was never. I think the generation or the music that like your sister might be. I can't say she listens to it, but it's like all that Justin Bieber, the 92 Degree people, what 98, 90, the band, boy bands.
Oh, the boy bands, yeah.
Right? And all the way through that generation,
she was
the year
into,
2000, and
I was never
she didn't listen to that.
A believer, no.
She didn't listen to all that.
She was too young.
Stuff, yeah.
She was too young, and I think it was already a little bit too old. And I never liked him.
Yeah.
But all the girls around me had crushes on him and stuff like that. Like Justin Bieber was really big, and One Direction.
One Direction.
Yeah. Obviously, Victoria was way too young for that as well.
Yeah.
But I just never got into it. I don't know.
Some of this music,
I mean, I was listening to Led Zeppelin. How could I go from listening to Led Zeppelin, Depeche Mode, to listening to One Direction?
Yeah.
Sorry to say, but like it just didn't make sense for the type of kid I was.
Yeah, no, but you have to have I guess a good sense of understanding of all the available music. That music is the one genre that you can listen to a song and it takes you right back to a memory.
Mm-hmm.
I can listen to a song and it takes me to an exact point in time in life where,
so crazy.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah.
I was doing that when this song came out.
Yeah.
I was, just doing shit or doing this or going there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was somewhere when that song came out. It was just, point in time, memory, blips, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, and it's also a trip too, because, these memories that we have, that we also carry other stories of other people's memories associated with these songs. So, we'll hear different stuff that my brother liked as well that I maybe didn't like. Jacob was like, "Oh, did you ever listen to
the Gorillaz?"
The Gorillaz, and I'm like, "Yeah, of course I did." But I told him, I was like, "But the Gorillaz were always my brother's band, even though I loved them and I listened to them a lot. That was Gianni's band, right? So we had, and like the Red Hot Chili Peppers were my band. That was your band.
Remember what we did when you were a little kid and your sister was even smaller?
Mm-hmm.
We waited in line to go.
They had their book signing. Yeah. It wasn't Anthony's book. It was the band's book. They came out with like a really beautiful, glossy book that just talked about the band's history and stuff like that. And they were having a signing at
Barnes and Noble?
Yeah, at the Glendale Galleria or something like that. That's around there.
That's right.
And my dad let me, and I remember I was like, I told my dad like the night before, I was like, if we can do this, I would literally
we went
freaking off myself.
We dragged your little sister and we went.
Yeah, he let me skip school.
Yeah.
And I remember telling everyone that day, I was like, I think I'm going to meet the Red Hot Chili Peppers tomorrow. And they're like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I remember that.
And it happened. And we got there. I didn't have a ticket. I didn't have a wristband. We walked and we asked
6 kids.
Yeah. So we ran into these 2 kids. This girl and this guy, and still so crazy to this day. I still keep in contact with them.
Yeah, he let us pretend that you were his little sister.
Yeah, so his name's Isaiah and Nami as well, and they let us sneak in with them, and literally it all worked out.
Yeah,
like I got my book signed. Flea was there, Anthony was there, and so was Chad, and it was so fucking epic. I was like so
I remember that.
tripped out.
It's kind of funny. So going to concerts and stuff, the biggest thing we would ever do, it wasn't something you had to think too much about. You always got to get your concert T-shirt, right? Mm-hmm. So I had the concert T-shirts, and of course, over the years, the concert T-shirts shred. If I would have kept some of those concert T-shirts today,
God, Dad, that would have been, you would have made a killing.
Imagine how much money those would have been today.
Yeah.
But whatever, you don't think about it back then. You just bought your T-shirt and you move on, right?
Right. Thankfully, Jacob does have like some of his dad's old like Morrissey T-shirts, a couple old U2 T-shirts that he's kept. But I mean, he won't be selling those. But concert T-shirts right now are super valuable.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So in high school, it was the deep '80s, right? So we listened to all that. It wasn't alternative. It was whatever, new age,
new wave, yeah,
new wave,
like In Excess,
In Excess, Flock of Seagulls, just like again,
Duran
Duran. It was New Order,
Joy Division,
just all those bands. And of course, we went to Tears for Fears concerts.
You went to a lot of Tears for Fears concerts.
Yeah, it was good. Mad World was an epic song that struck a chord.
Yeah.
And we just another song that just got burned through so much. And all the Depeche Mode music as well. So it was just the band to listen to.
I have my Depeche Mode tattoo on my arm.
Yeah. So yeah, and then you go through and listen to all that music, and then again we went through all of that stuff. And again, as I said, point in time memories.
And talk about a time just in society as well. Like the music was so just answered to it. Yeah. And I feel like now there's no music that can answer to the things that we're dealing with as a culture, as a society, unlike then, right? Just like, post-Vietnam, like 60s, 70s culture was a response. The music informed the culture and vice versa. It was a kind of a give and take relationship. Same goes for the 80s and all the things that kind of occurred during just so much instability and so much of just unknowing. And now it's just
music drove the thoughts of the generations that lived through it, right? And the tensions that took place, whether in government or in life, right? A lot of people sing from music is about expression of what you feel, what you love, what you hate, and so we just got a lot of that throughout the last, for me, 30 years worth of, maybe 30. What's the early years all the way through the 80s was probably, your brother always said it was, Dad, I wish I lived through that.
I know.
What? It's no different than what you guys lived through today. It's just a different time. And music was immense.
Yeah.
Immense. The amount of music that was being put out, and you just connected with it and that kind of stuff. I remember your brother, I used to listen to Sade. I still do. In fact, I listened to her today. I was out doing errands and stuff. And your brother would always call her, you listen to Sadie again?
Sadie.
Yeah, because the way you pronounce it. Yeah. So, I went to her concert. That was a great concert. I mean, the music is just delicious.
Unmatched. It is
quality of music.
Very decadent type of music. And I remember, and still to this day, I'll call my dad and be like, why didn't you like the Talking Heads? Why didn't you like the Style Council? Why didn't you like, because I'm just like, dude, it's how.
I wasn't a big fan of Police, but when Roxanne comes out there, I'll fucking turn that shit up. Roxanne, whatever. And even Billie Eilish, I'm not a big fan per se of Billie Eilish, but there's a couple good songs that she's got that are just, that's a pretty good song,
I mean, and I was telling Jacob the other day,
it's not a compilation of music,
right? Yeah,
it's one-offs.
And you can't, and back then you can listen to, a Depeche album from start to finish, no skips, like,
and not one song was bad.
Is incredible. Everyone that goes on, The Cure, you can listen to the first and the last all the way through.
So you go from albums and listening to that, then the MTV generation, which I lived through that, really at the
we got the tail end of it,
at the genesis of it, right? And so videos became such an important part of connecting the performers without having to go to the concerts, right? And then that just hyped it up when you did go to the concert, but you saw all those videos, and then videos became what they are. You can't put a song out there unless you put a video.
Right.
That happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or the late 80s or mid 80s or whatever. Yeah. And that's MTV generation. We saw all kinds. Back then, MTV was actually nothing more than what it stands for, music television.
And it's interesting too, because I remember waking up, putting on my TV in my mom's house and just watching music videos, falling back asleep to them. You know, if I couldn't sleep, I just put them on and there would be music videos going, Red Hot Chili Peppers, whatever. And crazy. Just having that kind of be the backdrop to all these just iconic albums and songs.
There are, the generation of music in the 80s. I mean, I can connect. When I was in the 80s, I was dating a girl that always wanted to do something on Friday night. And I would always say, no, I can't do something on Friday night. And she'd get mad at me. And I said, can't do it because it's freaking Miami Vice night. Because Miami Vice would come out on a Friday.
Yeah. You're like, I can't miss this.
Phil Collins, right? Into the one song that played in that was Herein Into the Night. Yeah. So I probably didn't get that right, but that was just an iconic song of the B-roll when Don Johnson's character is driving in the black Ferrari in the Miami night, and it was just iconic. And of course, Phil Collins, God damn it, he's sick.
Is he?
Yeah, he's sick, and he can't play the drums because he's just so.
Yeah, talk about In the Air Tonight. That freaking drum solo, just.
Genesis was a freaking, early Genesis, phenomenal band. Phil Collins is just a master musician.
For sure. And that song did come back into popularity when I was growing up because of Hangover. Do you remember it came out in Hangover?
Did it?
When Mike Tyson is like singing In the Air Tonight.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh my God. It was just like, I'm like, oh my God, that's literally one of my dad's favorite songs. And I don't know. It just references, consistent references constantly.
But taking it back to kind of the topic point of our podcast today, it's like it's sad to see all of these performers of your generation dying off.
Yeah.
And or getting sick or are so sick that they can't perform anymore. And then you wonder, why would I go see a concert? It's just there's a lot of people that go to these. Who drag these poor performers out and then let them be, and why stick them out? I don't think I want. Their voices are gone.
Yeah,
it's
sad,
and you want to have a reflection of it when you remember it,
right? So. And it's the fact that Ozzy Osbourne passed away only like a week or so after his farewell show. Last show.
I heard it was just disastrous.
Really?
He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, they had to tie him to his chair, but he had stopped taking his pain medication in order to be able to sing because obviously he didn't want to be sedated up there.
Sure.
So he was just in immense pain.
Unlike the last 30 years.
Yeah. Just in immense pain, just trying his best. And I just when I had seen the footage of the show, videos of it, just so many people just in tears because they knew that like, dang, this is the end.
Yeah.
And just it just so happened to be only a week after where he had passed on. But God, I'll never forget the first time I ever heard Crazy Train in my iPod in my ears, and the sound would go from one ear to the next, and it would just like that scream. It was just
what's funny is you listen to some of these bands and it's like I said, it always takes you back, but it's that one or two song that's just like, what? Why are they singing that again? It's let the poor guy. But a lot of newer performers are actually taking samplings. Yeah, of some of the older songs. That's great. I think that's great. I think that revives the old music, and that's super.
What do you think about like the AI that's been done with like the voices of people that have passed on, like what Drake's done with Michael Jackson's voice? Like, do you think that that's not right?
No, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the music, those are iconic, performers. Why not let it live on?
Even if they're freaking already in the ground, they can't benefit from.
Yeah, the estate,
families
the
do.
Estate does benefit. And it's art that should continue to live forward. I don't have a problem with it. That's the best way to answer it. Right? I don't have a problem with it. Music is the one form of entertainment that, again, continues that memory strand, unlike maybe a cinema, where you don't
you
have
can't
that,
just turn on a movie.
You don't have that point in time memory. I mean, yeah, I have a memory of watching Godfather 2 at a drive-in with my parents.
Right.
Back in the day, we had drive-ins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have those kind of short blips of memory, but music just transcends time.
And the fact that music is so much more accessible. Sure. You can, especially now, like, yeah, you can pull up your phone and stream something or whatever. It's just not the same. And during COVID, when everyone was so afraid of, oh, this is the end of the movie theater, everyone was freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
We'll never see a movie in a movie theater again, blah, blah, blah. It's true. Like, it's just not the same, right? There's something about, and I remember the first time my mom let me out of the fucking house in high school was to see Twilight midnight. First, that was the day that it released, premiere, whatever. And I remember just standing in line and just being like, holy shit, I'm going to see my freaking movie, and just feeling like so cool.
But, the theater experience didn't happen because of COVID. What killed theater or cinema was streaming.
Yeah.
COVID didn't kill it. It was streaming.
For sure.
And the poor quality of the content.
Right. Yeah.
The bad.
And now it's just so much content that it's not. Yeah, they don't vet it very well, and a lot of these networks, and I work in TV, so I know this that there's just so much money to go around that they just are making shit.
Hollywood regurgitates the same bullshit, just in a different form. Yeah. I just heard they do, movie 1, 2, 3. It's just nonsense. Music, you don't get that.
Yeah, you don't.
Music, it's new.
You can't really emulate it. Yeah,
it's new and it's fresh.
Yeah.
So when it comes to generational conversation about music and stuff, we're all getting older. And our music
is rock and roll dead.
Is rock and roll dead. Mm-hmm. I think the people who created the music, who performed the songs, are dying.
Yeah,
if they're not
and it's sad because like jazz is dead. Right?
Jazz has been dead for so long.
Jazz, like, and I remember listening to jazz and being like, in high school.
Monk.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's already gone.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's hard to have an attachment to something that's already long gone. And now, seeing all of these legends pass on, and I'm like, oh my God, this genre that I've been in love with since I was a child, rock and roll, it's fading away.
I remember jazz being a different genre within the music, but I would go to St. Mark's. I think it was called the St. Mark's Club in Santa Monica, and just to listen to jazz. Mm-hmm. We'd get tickets to go to the Hollywood Bowl, and we'd listen to jazz. Just back in the day, I don't listen to jazz anymore.
I do. We do go to jazz nights at different bars that we like, but I don't know. It's just not.
If I'm going to listen to jazzy type of music, it's going to have lyrics. It's going to have the music not alone. That's why I like so much Sade, like Sade. Like that, yeah. That's just the what's the best way to say it? It's just an eloquent music. It's just so very sexy. It's just so very wonderful to listen to that music.
Super warm.
Very loving, right? Those are love songs, So yeah, crazy shit. I mean,
my gosh,
generation is dying. So is rock and roll dying.
I think it is. I think it already has.
It may have. There isn't rock. It's kind of funny. We talked about, before we started this podcast, we talked about what was the variation or the split between, let's say, classic rock and roll, and in the 80s, as rock and roll kept going from the 50s all the way through up, Elvis Presley all the way going forward. Then they did something called glam rock.
Oh yeah.
Poison.
I never liked glam
Motley
rock.
Crue. I loved Motley Crue.
Yeah,
loved it. And so that was a different type of music all the way through. And then after the 80s came grunge?
Yeah.
Grunge?
After 80s new wave came grunge.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam. We listened to Pearl Jam a lot growing up. Oh my God. If I listen to Pearl Jam, it reminds me of my dad. Pearl Jam,
Creed.
Last Kiss.
Pearl Jam and Creed.
We love, Jacob and I love Creed still.
Those were just very good music. Rock and roll-ish.
Yeah.
But grunge.
Still.
Grunge tensions, right?
Yeah. Still kind of in the rock and roll style, but becoming its own thing. And now we don't really have even that.
GNR, Guns N' Roses, they had theirs, you know, their window of time. Yeah, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, that was that last bastion of rock and roll. They had also metal music.
Yeah, I never liked metal either.
I was never a big fan of metal music. I wasn't a headbanger of any kind, but because it's just yeah. I mean, those were very popular too.
And it's funny when we were growing up, my dad would tell me like, you got to listen to everything to make sure you don't like it. Like, but don't knock one genre without knowing. You know, because of course the instinct was, oh, fuck country. I don't like country. And then I started listening to Johnny Cash, and I was like, okay, well, Johnny Cash is pretty cool. And then you know, you jump around and stuff like that, but. You know, I did listen to everything and decided, okay, I'm not really into glam rock. I'm not really into metal.
Let me tell you, Poison has a couple good songs that I remember well, and so did, Motley Crue had a shitload of songs. Yeah. They had a small stint of glam, but mostly it was Poison, I remember. You know,
for sure.
Yeah, it was just...
And Bret Michaels.
Bret Michaels, yeah. And then, so yeah, these generations of styles and music just kept going forward. Today, we don't have anything.
We don't really have that.
We don't have anything. Now I think it's K-pop or...
I feel like it's just really pop.
Pop?
But
yeah, it's kind of popish.
Pop is such a huge genre of music. It's just a very big blanket that doesn't really... Pop is also like just muted.
Yeah.
It doesn't really explain anything.
It doesn't give you any thought. So a lot of people will say that that's why you should listen to folks like Kendrick Lamar, or where there's a message being made or whatever. I get it. I think that, you know, the Biggie Smalls, you know, that music that took place in the where he was coming up in the 80s, and some of the songs that you just resonate with you, more money, more problems, those kind of things. And
You're like, I really felt that.
I remember all that. I remember just those songs that just came out, you know, NWA. Just
Tupac.
All of these.
Like, there was so much poetry and other genres as well.
I was the biggest fan of Ice-T.
Oh my God, Dad. And my dad's always wanting to talk about Ice-T.
I love Ice-T. Fucking, he was the bomb. And, you know,
funny.
He would say all kinds of shit about the police and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I remember I was driving down Ventura Boulevard when Jagged Little Pill came out. And,
oh my God, my queen, Alanis
Morissette. When that song, when that band, I should say, when that album came out, it was nonstop. But every single song was just phenomenal.
Perfect.
And it was an ode to womanhood. I don't know what it was, but it was just rock and roll.
Yeah, it was
good music. It was the songs that you can say back, fuck, that's a great lyrics.
Yeah, her voice, everything. It was so much soul, and like that was my album in high school, and it just fueled the fire that I had in me, and it's a perfect album.
And what, Alanis is now what? She's deep in her late 50s. Late 50s, right?
And she's still performing.
Is she? Okay.
And it's pretty cool because when Olivia Rodrigo went on tour, Olivia Rodrigo.
Ugh.
Anyway,
exactly.
Do not talk shit about our queen.
Please.
We love Olivia, but when she went on tour, you know, she brought Alanis out, and it was really cool to have like her, you know, give this, you know, moment to a legend that had inspired her. And I mean, we grew up listening to Madonna and like a bunch of female legends that
Cyndi Lauper,
that were doing their own damn thing as well, and kind of making their own path. Madonna was pop, was rock and roll, was a lot of things.
Well, Madonna came out, it was that deep 80s, early 80s, right? And that was the time also when Wham and George Michael,
where we needed those feminist icons to kind of like challenge.
Well, Wham wasn't feminist.
I know.
Yeah, they were just that English pop.
Right. But I'm saying
fun
Madonna.
music. It was that fun music. I remember. So Cyndi Lauper, Wham, they would do all that. The Bananarama, they would do all those kinds of B-52s.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like classic shit.
Yeah, the B-52s. We grew up listening to B-52s. That was fun music, you know?
Yeah. Just fun music. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they're all old as shit too.
Yeah.
Scary.
And they're still performing, you know? They do.
I don't know.
Recently, Martha went to a show where they had B-52s. They had
they were performing?
Stevie B.
Or they were just playing the music?
Yeah, they were performing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, I mean...
it's tough. We're all getting older.
Yeah.
Hopefully the music will continue to...
evolve in some way. But dang, we're going to need a fucking revolution in music because...
Music. Yeah.
It's not
Some
happening.
people will say there is a revolution happening in music. That's with all the, the K-pops, J-pops, all that stuff that's coming out there.
There's definitely cross-cultural shit that's happening right now. That's pretty cool that I feel like hasn't happened before.
But a lot of it's music coming out of like, what is it called? That social media thing that everybody listens.
Oh, TikTok?
The TikTok phenomenal.
Yeah, that's now.
Didn't Tate McRae get that blast of
a lot of
behind
people
her
are
songs?
getting if you go viral on TikTok, there's a high chance that people will stream your stuff outside of the app.
Yeah, just crazy shit. Just different times.
Yeah, different times completely. Yeah. But I do think that rock and roll is dead. So
sorry to hear that's sad. Yeah, pretty these sad. Performers are all, sad.
Yeah, I was very sad when I heard about Brian Wilson. I told Jacob, I was like, oh my God, Brian Wilson passed away. Like, what a special being. We connect with these people. Yeah. And we feel like they're a part of us in some way. Yeah. And
crazy. Crazy stuff. Yeah. But hopefully it does. Music has a future revolution in its place, but hopefully, I don't know. Yeah. Too bad. A lot of good stuff. A lot of great memories. Music.
Good fun going down memory lane.
Absolutely.
I love talking about music.
That's right. We didn't, if we left out a band, a performer, it's not because it wasn't on the top of mind. It's just, there's just so much good stuff. So much good stuff. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for joining us on our conversation about is rock and roll dying. And unfortunately, I think the consciousness or the final answer is it's pretty sad.
I think so.
Yeah. Angus Young. Sorry, before we end. Oh my God, I saw Angus Young from AC/DC sitting there dancing with his guitar, doing Back in Black. It's like, wow, dude, he's so old.
Yeah.
Ooh, crazy shit, but
you gotta love him for just continuing,
Just shocking.
Good for you.
He's still wearing the shorts, the schoolboy uniform.
Hell yeah.
Too funny.
Well, stream some music tonight.
That's right. We're all gonna stream some music tonight. Listen to some good old rock and roll and 80s and 90s and whatever grunge and
all of it, all the good shit.
Good deal. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Life in the Bit of Truth. We're on all the podcast platforms, and you're on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Leave us comments regarding this one because I know we'll get some good comments and probably get some nasty ones.
Yeah, let us know what your favorite bands of rock and roll are.
Yeah, definitely let us know. It'd be good to read through some of that stuff. Yeah. And if you do listen to us now, we're on all the other podcast platforms. So tune in, leave us comments, like and subscribe on YouTube, and help us with that algorithm. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.